Hey guys, today we are going to jump right into it. I've got a tutorial for you. We're going to connect Dlive with OBS. Now I am going to speed this right along and assume that you know what both of those websites are. If not, you're watching on Dlive, then you already got it. If you're watching on YouTube, I'll drop the Dlive link down below, and I'll also drop the OBS download link down below as well. So we're going to go ahead and get started. All right, as you can see right behind me, we are on my Dlive page. Whoop, over there. I am pretty much new to Dlive, but that means that I'm fresh on all the questions and things like that, so it should be pretty helpful. So to start off, a lot of people when you're new, you don't know exactly what kind of bitrate or resolution speed and things like that you need to set your OBS to. So I'm going to try to give the average one that is probably going to work for everybody. So first off, if you didn't know, up in this top right hand corner is where your sign-in is, and that's also where you're going to be able to find the help page. Now if I click into the help page real quick, if you haven't been here, I would suggest giving it a little look-see-loo. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to go into broadcasts right now. So here we are, and I have already opened up the broadcast page with all of the things so that we can give a look-see at it here in just a minute. Now the first thing that we're going to do, in case you are brand new to streaming, and I assume a lot of you are going to be, is we're going to click this thing at the top called speedtest.com. We're going to give it a clicky click. That's going to open another website, totally safe. This is going to figure out exactly the highest resolution and the highest bit rate that you're going to be able to stream on Dlive or any other platforms for that matter. So what we're going to do first is just go ahead and click that and then click that button. So while that's happening, let's go pop back on over to the broadcast requirements. Now I'm going to go ahead and leave this page open, and we'll come back and reference it a couple of times as we need to. And we're going to make sure that all of our OBS settings have the right settings input in here. So to start out, they have all of these options. Now the very top option in Dlive, they do not currently have the settings to be able to support 1080p and 60 frames per second. So they suggest you go down the one level just to 30 frames per second. We're not going to deal with that right now. I do have the capability to do that, but I'm going to explain why in just a second and why you might not want to stream at your highest rate unless you're a gamer, and then you probably should anyway. So after a bit of research, and I've had trouble with the internets too, I found that the best thing for all new streamers is going to be this one right here. You can see as it, that way, it's highlighted over there for you. That is 720p and 30 frames per second. That's going to be an output resolution of 1280 times 720. And the bit rate that you're going to be able to use with that kind of output resolution is going to be 1500 to 3000. All right, so what is that 1500 to 3000? Well, we're going to go back to the speed test that we did a second ago. Now, if we look over here, these are the ping isn't very important. That's how long it took it to identify you. Full disclosure, I have extremely good internet. It's prime time for me right now. I'm supposed to have 50 up and 50 down. The worldwide average for upload speed is 3. So most people get an average upload speed of 3 Mbps, and that is going to mean 3,000. When we were back over here on this other page, the bit rate, 3,000. That would be the max that you could possibly do. Now the thing is you don't want to do the max because your computer also has to run and it has to do sound. And what if you're running a program on YouTube? What if you want to play YouTube? So you're trying to do other things on your computer. So you really only want to do about 80% of whatever your upload speed is. Again, my upload speed says 29, so I could literally do anything that I want. But for the most part, you guys are going to probably be hitting 1.7 to 2.5 if you're in like the good lucky lands. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So back over here in the broadcast requirements, again, that's where we're going to stay in this little area right here with the FPS value of 30. That's another requirement of Dlive. So you guys, we've got a little bit of information here. Let's pop into OBS now. All right, guys, so I'm going to move me up in the corner so I'm out of the way. Okay, so this is OBS. If you've just downloaded it, you won't see any of this stuff over here. In fact, let's go ahead and we're going to just start brand new. So if you just opened up OBS and you're brand new to this, what you want to do is go up into the top, whoop, over there, and the profile selection, let's see here, is going to say you're going to have to match a profile selection and a scene selection. So you're going to have to do 2 new ones of those, each one, and when you pull up new, it's just going to ask you to fill it in. I already did one for today. Dlive OBS. All right, guys, so we just now have our Dlive OBS profile and scene collection set up. Now what we're going to do is pop over here to the other side where it says settings. We're going to click on settings, and this is where we're going to set up everything that you're going to need possibly set up to be able to start streaming live after you're done watching this video. So first, it's general is what's going to open. Now really, you don't need to really look at any of these things. Most of the things that are clicked on here, good to go. So you're not going to have to really worry about it. Once you get better at this, of course you're going to want to pop around and see what your other options to things are. I would not worry about anything in here right now. We're going to pop right down into the next one. That's stream. Now, if you look right here on stream, you can see you're going to have, it's probably going to open to you and it's going to say streaming services first. Now, we don't have a choice on Dlive yet in OBS. So what we're going to have to do is change our stream type to custom streaming server. That's going to open up a place to put a URL and a stream key. Now, we're going to come back to that in a little bit. Next up is output. Now, it's going to be in simple when you first come into this, and you're going to see all these things here, but what you're going to want to do is go into advanced. That was important. That was one of the things that the Dlive Help Center specifically asked you to do. So in here on advanced, I'm in streaming. There's different ones here. We're going to start in streaming. Leave all of this stuff here the same. You don't need to do a rescale output unless you know what you want, and you're doing that on purpose. Now, if we go back into our website a second ago, we look over here and it says we need our rate control CBR and we need our keyframe interval to be 2. That's very important. So let's pop back in here. So rate control CBR. Now it might be set to VBR when you come in, so be sure you do get that click to CBR. Now here is the keyframe interval. This says it's 0 when you first logged in, so you do want to make sure you get 2 put in right there. Now the bit rate, that is the most important thing that we're going to talk about today. All right, so if you just got your reading over on the speed test and you found out that your bit rate is, let's say, 2.5, so that means you have full bit rate upload speed of 2500. So you don't want to use all of that. So at the most, you'd say, I would say around 2. I would even go a little lower if you wanted to be safe on things. So again, we're looking at the 720 30 FPS, and our choices here are 1500 to 3000. And if you pinged just over 2, perfect, you're in the right range. So what I would do is start out with 2. If it's for some reason you start dropping a lot of frames and having difficulties with that, you're going to want to go back into your bitrate section and lower that just a little bit. All right, so mine, I have set at 2500. That's way lower than I can do, but again, for my viewers, there might be people that are overseas somewhere and they have less good internet and it'll be more difficult for them. Okay, so next up, we are going to go into recording. These things you're just going to want to leave alone. I do want to let you know that this is where your video is going to be recorded. It took me a second to find that. So this is where you can change your recording path. Easy peasy, you just browse and find where you want to put it. I would say leave your recording format in FLV. There is a warning that comes up when you put it in the MP4 format. Something about if it's unrecoverable, then it won't be saved. Now remember, you are streaming on Dlive. I always record while I'm streaming, so just in case something happens with the live recording and I did something amazing on the Dlive, then I will have that recording as a backup. Most of the time I don't ever use them, and then I just have to remember to delete them. Hint, hint. All right, so I'm going to leave that at FLV again. These other things we're going to just leave same way again also. Now audio, you have all of these tracks. Most of the time you're probably going to use 2 or 3. You're going to have your microphone, maybe your desktop, possibly some other media sources that you might be playing through. I have them all set at 160. Again, this is so people who are in other places that have not as much upload or download speed when they're trying to watch the video, so that they'll be able to actually hear it no matter what. When I had really, really poor internet, I was way down at 96, and that made it that even if my video lagged a little bit, my audio stayed on key, even for those people in other countries that may not have the quickest internet. So I would also suggest keeping them all the same. Unless you're playing music or some kind of music live or something, then you're going to want a higher audio bit rate because it's going to be more important for your music to come through. This last one's replay buffer. I don't do that one there. All right, so we've done all of that stuff. Once you've set those things up, you do want to apply it, but we're going to Yes. Now we're going to go down to the next one, audio. Now we just set the audio levels, the bitrate levels. Now that bitrate is coming out of your actual bitrate total. So if you had 2.5 and you took out 160, now you have the remaining amount of that just to stream. It makes sense after you think about it a little bit. All right, so we're inside audio right now, and the sample rate up at the top, you can do it at 48 or leave it at 44. I just leave mine at 44. Again, I'm trying to make it easier on my viewers. Channels, stereo. Unless you're looking for something specific, there are some other options, including mono in there. Now this is what you need to do here. The desktop audio device, you do want to set that top one to your default, whatever your desktop audio might be. That way, whatever you hear, whether it be through your speakers or if you're wearing headphones during your live stream, it is the correct thing, and you know that's the right desktop sound. Now your second one here, I would suggest to go ahead and just disable that. Leave that second one alone, unless you know what you're doing and you're playing a game and you have other things set up with like different channels and stuff. All right, next up we've got our mic and auxiliary audio device. Whatever mic you're using, great. Now I'm using a webcam and a microphone, so I have two devices that I'm using, which means I have to turn my microphone off in my webcam so that I don't get double surround sound, which is like a weird echo. You don't want that either. So I have my blue my microphone set as my blue snowball, and then I have all of the other things disabled. Now real quick, before we do anything else, because I have a webcam, just in case you do too and are using a microphone, go down into the bottom corner of your, I pointed the wrong way, bottom corner of your computer, and right click on your little volume thing, and then click into sound. That's going to bring up this little box, and you're going to want to find your recording sounds and then look for your webcam microphone. So right here, as you can see, that's my C922 Pro Stream webcam, and it's already disabled like I said. But what you would do to disable that is you find it, click on it, you're going to open up properties, and then down here at the bottom is where it says device usage, and you're going to want to either, if it's on, you're going to want to turn it off, and if you ever need to turn it back on, say you want to switch, just remember that's what you did or your brain might explode a little. All right, so I do not want to use the device on my webcam ever for audio, so that's all set up for me now and ready to go. All right, so we set up the audio there. You would click apply again, but I've not changed anything, and we're going to go on to video. Now, before, we've already talked about our resolution. Now, if we pop back over into our help page, we see our output resolution is 1280 by 720, and that is exactly what I've got set up here. Now, to make it easier on everything, I set both of mine to be the same. So I set my base canvas resolution and my output exactly the same. That way it's easy peasy on everybody. So I've got 1280 by 720 set in both of them. Now here's the other thing that is kind of hidden in a weird place. If we go back here, all right, so we're looking for the FPS value at 30. Now we're finally in that here. This is it right here, common FPS values. Set that at 30. You've got some other options right there, but 30 is where you want to go. Then you're going to want to apply again. All right, guys, we're pretty much done with this. So last couple things in here are hotkeys. I am not going to go over that today. I might do a tutorial later. They are amazing once you get them all set up, but they're not really important to get started. And then finally, we've got our advanced section. That's where you're going to be able to find, you know, your basic stuff and things. This little file formatting, this is how it's going to name each of your videos. So you can choose the year, the month, the day. In fact, I'm going to go in and I'm going to take this one off, I think, because I don't really need the year because I know what year it is, right? All right, so we're going to go ahead and do that, and then everything else, I'm leaving. We're going to apply that because I changed it up. Okay, guys, so we've got everything done here except for that little stream thing, but we are still going to come back to that in a minute. First, we've got to set up a scene so that we can go ahead and go live. So after we've already set up our profile and our scene collection over here, and they match, then you're going to have an empty little place down here and here under scenes and sources. So in scene, you can title the scene anything you want. So let's say rename, let's say sunshine. That's the name of my scene. So then you're going to want to go over to the next step, bloop, Wait, is that the right direction? Yeah. And you're going to want to start adding sources so that people can see things. All right, so the first thing that I generally do is put an image background behind mine. You might want to use a media source. If you have enough upload speed, again, that is very important. If you have enough upload speed, you will be able to run any kind of moving GIFs or videos behind you while you're doing things live. Same goes for video games and things like that. If you have enough speed, you can pretty much put anything behind you. So if you are just doing game capture, it is so easy. You turn your game on, you click that button, game capture, and it grabs it. Like, I bet if I pushed it, because I play Five Nights at Freddy's, it will come up and just be, it's so fast and so easy. All right, so we're just gonna go through a few of these so we can get you started. So let's say we wanna add an image. So we're gonna just put some clouds behind us real quick. So I added a new one. Now down here under add existing, that's gonna be available once you start building it and you've got images saved in and things like that. All right, so we're gonna look now. Once we push OK, it's gonna open up your computer source and you'll be able to find pictures that you want. I'm looking for, we've got video backgrounds. All right, so we've got some clouds. Excellente. All right, so depending on the size of the file that you bring in, you're gonna have to probably move it about so that it fits. Generally for my background things, I have them at least in a high resolution so that they're gonna be the same dimensions of my video screen. All right, so we've got a background. Now let's add let's do a window capture. Now I am just gonna name it window capture so that we can go ahead. Now if you click this little button over here, it's gonna show all the windows that you have open right now. So I'm gonna look at the one that I want to look at. So let's say it's Dlive. So now I am looking at my Dlive window capture there. Now, as you can see over here, Dlive, now it says below it, match title, otherwise find a window of the same type. I like to choose that because most of the time I use this for my browser. Then I don't have to use, which I'll show you in a second, how to log in and be able to interact with the browser thing. So this works perfectly for me because now I can just navigate it, as you can see right over there. So if I pushed OK, that thing would disappear. Then you can adjust this window just like this. So let's say I wanted to put this window here. We're gonna make it a little bigger. If you want, you can also adjust the sides by holding down the Alt key and then pulling it down. I do that too, so sometimes I don't want you to see all that. Maybe I just want to pull it over just a little and clean it up like that. So then there you go. We've got this going. I still have access to be able to work inside of this Dlive over here. Now, let's talk about browser. So the difference between browser is it's actually going to ask for a website. Now, full disclosure, I use this so that I can do an OBS overlay of my chat so that all of my the memes can come in while people are doing my Dlive chat. So that's a secret, super secret workaround. But let's go ahead and I'm just going to copy the same address that we just have up there in that window. So that's my Dlive right there, and you can see right here you can choose the size that you want it to be and all that jazz. So we're going to go ahead and put that in there, and then I'm going to shrink it down so that we have them next to each other. Now the difference is I don't have any access in here like I had access in that before until I right click and go down to interact. Now a little separate window pops up, and this is where I'm going to be able to work that. So if you prefer to do it that way, do it to it. All right guys, so I'm going to go ahead and we're going to kill that one. I'm not going to delete it completely, but we're just going to go like this. See how it disappears like magic? All right, so another important thing I bet you guys are wondering about, where is it? Oh, it's there. Okay, so we're going to bring in a video capture device so that you can see your faces. Now, I learned this yesterday while I was doing this. I do have 2 instances of OBS open so that I'm able to record in one while simultaneously showing you how to work things in the other. What I found out yesterday, though, is my webcam will only work in one program at once. So even though OBS is the same program, because I have my webcam open in the current one you're looking at me, it's not going to open in this one. But I do have this really, really old, oh man, and super cheap webcam that's like the worst ever. So I'm just going to show you how it comes in and like hold it away from me as far as I can because there's no way to get it prettier. But, oh, look at there. There I am. Hi. Hi guys, there's some junk in my stuff in my house. All right, so on this, you would want to, you can configure your video. This is a horrible example. Mine does not configure very well over here, and it doesn't have camera controls. If you do have camera controls, then you'll be able to, I'm just like running around, are you drunk? You'll be able to move these around. The Logitech that I'm using right now, I have access to all of these, all of the white things and stuff like that. Also, you would be able to, on any better camera, be able to change all of the resolution types to custom. It would let you put this in here. Oh, look, it's little. Look, I can change it to square. That's so fun. All right, so then we push OK, and then you see me. So hard to hold it. Hi, guys. And you can shrink that down just the same way. In the event, I'm just going to leave that like right there like that. So you can also, I wonder if this camera will do it. All right, so another thing that you can do is add a green screen. Now, if you have a green screen, as you can see behind me, all you're gonna need to do is go into, let's go back, Carrie. To do a green screen, what you're gonna need to do is go into your filters, and then down here at the bottom, there's a little plus. This is effect filters, and you're gonna wanna push plus and do chroma key. I just name it chroma key and just leave it right there, right there. Oh, see, now I'm chromed. It worked on this old school camera. So you can go ahead and just green it out. If you're using different colors, you can do blue, magenta, or a custom color where you choose the background color. So I have white and black too that I can use. So all right, so we're gonna close that. And so now, even on my horrible camera that's hard to deal with, I've got chroma. All right, you guys, so now we've got our face in. I'm gonna shut that off for posterity's sake because it's hurting my arm also. We figured out how to do a browser and a browser and a window capture. Now let's look here. Media source, exactly what it sounds like. If you want to upload a song to play or an audio file of some kind or a video to play in the background, that's what your media source is going to be. Video source, same idea. Video capture, we already did that. Game capture, like I did, let's see what happens. So if I do game capture, okay. Capture any full screen application, it will seriously do it so fast and so easy. It's a little alarming how quickly it happens. All right, guys, so we've got it set up. Now, if you wanted to do multiple scenes, you'd be able to switch between the scenes and move back and forth, and you'd be able to see different things, set up your camera in different places. It makes it really easy. There's a lot of fun things that you can do with this. But let's get you guys live first before we do anything else. All right, so we are back on the Help Center. We have set everything up in there, and now all we have to do is go live, I think. So up here on your main page on Dlive, there's a little camera. Click it. Go live. All right, so this is pretty easy peasy. You're going to upload an image right here for your main image that's going to show up on the website. Make sure it's only 2 MB. If it's a little bit too big, go to LunaPic. Once you upload your image in LunaPic, at the very top of the image, there's going to be a couple of options. One is going to be scale. Just scale it down just a touch, resave it, and then pull it right back in. It'll work like a charm, I promise. Then you want to title it, description. Now, think YouTube, short descriptions. You will be able to go into your Steemit post and re-edit everything. There is not Markdown available at this time on Dlive, so it's only text that's allowed in there. So keep that in mind as well. You're going to need to choose a language and a category, add some more tags. And then this is important over here. So this is where you're going to get your URL so that you can start streaming in OBS. It's really your last step. So now we're going to regenerate our server URL. All right, so that opens it up so I can see it. And then you're going to highlight and copy it. We're going to pop back into our OBS, back into settings to that one place we hadn't finished yet in stream. And we're going to put our URL that we just grabbed right there. Now our stream key is always going to be your Dlive name. So for me, it's Carrie Allen. And then I can apply that and save it. But just for posterity's sake, I will give you a little gander. Stream key, Carrie Allen, just like my name. All right, basically at that point, you are ready to go. I know, it's so exciting. So all you have to do at this point is, well, let's go back to it, is you're gonna click save and go live. And after a few seconds, Dlive is gonna connect and another little warning is gonna come up and it says, okay, you're live, we're waiting to connect with your OBS product thing. I don't remember exactly what it says clearly. At that point, you're going to want to come back over here and you're going to do start streaming. That's going to bring up another question little box, and it's going to say, are you sure that you want to start streaming? And you're like, yes, I do. That's why I clicked it in the first place. And you go ahead and click that, and then you watch your screen a few more seconds, maybe not very many. Then it's going to come up and you're going to see that you are live. At that point, if you want to keep your Dlive page open, do go ahead and mute that page so you don't get double feedback for you and your audience. I like to keep the window open just so I can keep an eye on it. That way, if I would notice if it drops or not drops. Another little hint right before we let you guys go is if you look right down there below me, let's see, over there below me, it's going to say live and record CPU and frames per second. Now, when this starts coming up, you're going to be able to tell really quickly if you're dropping frames and losing stuff. And remember from the beginning, if that is happening to you, you just need to go in and adjust your bit rates a little bit lower. All right, guys, I think that's it. I tried to go quickly, but make it so that you can stop and understand what I'm doing. If you have any other questions, feel free to give me a question down below. YouTube, Dlive, wherever you happen to be at. You can also send me messages on Discord. You can find me there. I'm Carrie Allen, #9415. Other than that, you guys have a great day, and I hope this tutorial was helpful. I'll see you out there.